Welcome to the Pain-Free Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Dana Jones. I am a certified personal trainer, and I'm here to help you achieve your fitness goals without pain. In each episode, I'll share tips and strategies that will help you stay safe and pain-free while you're working out. I'll also interview experts in the field of fitness and pain management. So if you're ready to learn how to stay active and pain-free, then subscribe to the Pain-Free Athlete Podcast today. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Pain-Free Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Dana Jones, and today I am super excited to welcome Jim Owen to the Pain-Free Athlete Podcast. Jim is 85 years old, a best-selling author.
Wait a minute, 85 years young.
85 years young, a documentary film producer, and what he calls a recovering couch potato. His book, Just Move, and his PBS films, including The Art of Aging Well and SuperAgers, have inspired people everywhere to stay active and age with purpose. He is also a 10-time gold medalist from the California Senior Games, all won at the age of 84 years young. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Thank you. Me.
So senior games is a fun event. I have a lot of friends who do senior games, and it's pretty intense out there.
Well, I won 10 gold medals at the fitness events.
Okay.
So this is not track and field. So in Santa Barbara, it's the only place in California that does these senior games with the exercises. So of the 10 events, nobody had ever won 10 gold medals. And
that's amazing.
In any age group. And I said, well, they're hard. And 7 of the 10 events I'd never done. I've been working out for, 15 years. But I did have the home field advantage. And that paid off. But also, I really believe in that practice. And I'm just guessing that most people that took part, there were about 125 people who take part in this thing, and all ages. And my guess is that most people come down from Fresno, we'll say, and maybe do 1 or 2 and go home. And I said, nope, I'm going to do all 10. And my goal was to do all 10. It's in a 2-hour set. It's in a 2-hour time period. That's the killer. That means 5 in 1 hour, presumably. 5 in the other hour. So, and there were guys who were losing their lunch. It's not funny.
Wow.
No. I mean, this is tough. And of the 10, I'd never done 7 before. So in the practice, I practiced for 2 hours a day, 3 times a week, just to get ready for this thing for 2 months in the hot summer sun. So, I live in La Jolla, San Diego. If it's 75 here, it's a good 85 east if you're about 20 minutes or 25 minutes. And that's where they held this thing. And so it was a killer, I have to tell you. Now, I can brag, but I'm not a braggart. But I can tell you one thing, Dana, I couldn't move for 2 weeks. No, I was literally had to go to the doctor. He came out to see me. And I said, Doc, you think I'm crazy? I'm crazy. So one thing that we did was this hanging thing, hang from a bar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 6 feet tall. A lot more difficult than if you're 5 feet tall. And on day 1 during the practice, I held, I think, for 10 seconds. And said, I'm not going to do this. Nope, it's too. I said, just try it, Jim. Maybe next week, you can do 15. I said, I don't believe it, but I'll try it. During the contest, I did 2.5 minutes.
Holy moly.
And now, when I got finished with the 2.5 minutes, oh my God, my wife was there like this from my back. And my daughter was there, Dad, deep breath. I said, I got to go to the next event.
Wow.
Some were strength, some were, it was in power, balance, whatever. But anyway, I won Parade magazine. That's the article at a parade. And that's me with the gold medals. In case your audience says, I don't believe this guy. I'll never do it again. You know that. I'll be even getting at the top.
So I'm a little confused because you said you've been working out for 15 years. What had happened at 70 that all of a sudden you decided that you were going to work out? And why haven't you worked out all your life?
Well, without going into the whole story, when I turned 70, I was in awful shape. I'd written a book that became a bestseller. And I almost don't want to give you the title because we end up talking about cowboy ethics. We sold 165,000 copies of the original book. Came out in 2004, and then the second edition in 2010. It's still selling. And I was on the speakers thing for about 10, 12 years. Now, I'm exaggerating a little bit. Monday in Boston, Wednesday in Orlando, Friday in Seattle. I loved every minute of it. I was doing about 30 a month, but I lost track after about 300. I loved it. But guess what? Late night dinners, up at 4 o'clock to catch a plane, sitting like this on a plane, killed me physically. And so I said, made you decide to work out? Well, I had excruciating lower back pain then. I'm talking about crawling on the bathroom floor with pain. My right rotator cuff was frozen because of all the books I was dragging around. I was about 35 pounds overweight. And the worst part was I had no energy at all. And I came across one statistic, and maybe you've seen this. I think it's out of Harvard. They tracked 100,000 people. So this is not 10 people from Denmark, 100,000 population. And what they found was one statistic. This changed my life. If you make it to 70, take a guess on statistically how much longer you can expect to live. Now, you may get hit by a truck the next day. Now, this is not how long you're going to live from birth. You might die at 50 or 60 or whatever. Take a guess how many years statistically you can expect to live if you make it to 70.
7 years.
It's actually 15.
Really? Okay.
To myself, if I feel this bad now, can you imagine how bad I'll be? I'll have a cane if I'm lucky. I'll be in one of those push carts, what do you call them? Or I'll be in a wheelchair. And that's what people say, what is your motivation? I said, are you kidding me? No energy at all. Felt like crap at 70. And so I said, I've got to do something. And that's what got me started. I was sort of at a crossroads. I can either do nothing or I can come up with a motivation, whatever you want to call it, spark, whatever you want to call it, and say, okay, I got to do something. I didn't know what to do.
So what did you do? What was the first thing you decided to do?
Well, I'm sure you can guess.
Well, aside from go to your doctor and get clearance.
The doctors, to be honest with you, were zero help. Young man, you need to exercise. What do I do? Well, I'm not a trainer, Well, I'm not either. I'm not an expert. I don't have an advanced degree in kinesiology. I'm just an ordinary guy. Nobody special, seriously. And what I did, I took a 30-day, I said, I'm going to do a 30-day challenge. I just made it up. I'm going to walk for 30 days. And it's just, it's the worst that can happen. On day one, Dana, I could not walk 2 blocks without, but on day 3 or 4 or 5, a little bit farther. I wasn't worried about how far or how fast. Just at the end of a month, I actually felt better. So maybe I ought to keep this up for another month or so. At the end of the second month, my wife, we've been married 58 years, said, Jim, you're looking a lot better. And my friends said, what are you doing? "Oh, I'm just trying to walk a little bit, that kind of stuff. And that's what got me started. The only problem with this, I'm not telling you a thing you don't know. Walking's not enough.
Right.
That's all you do. It's better than doing nothing. I'm not talking about running. I just walked at a pretty good pace. And I said, I've got to do something else. So I said, I better go to a gym. Now comes the embarrassing part. On day 1, I could not do one push-up.
Hmm.
It took about 2 to 3 weeks to do one push-up with proper form. Can you imagine this? At the end of the year, I was doing probably 12. And I look back with hindsight, and it took about 2 to 3 years, I would say. That's how bad off I was to build that, what you would call a foundation. And this is the hard part of working out. You've got to have a foundation. And once you build that, it really became fun. Truthfully, I genuinely enjoyed it. And so that was it. And I said, I was not a great athlete. I want to make this very clear, unlike you. Oh, I lettered in, you know, high school football, big deal. I never made a touchdown, you know, but I was in pretty good shape when I was in my, high school days, and exercised, had to, but then I didn't do anything for about, 20 years, and I gained weight. I was about 25, I was about 35 pounds overweight.
I find it interesting though, like, was it, and this also is my ignorance because sometimes when you're like me, where you kind of bleed athletics, it's hard to let go of it. But you were a high school athlete, like, was it just raising kids, getting married, doing the things that you're supposed to do that kind of drove you at that point and the fitness piece wasn't important?
Well, I don't want anybody to be misled, and my old high school chums will just snort. I stay on the bench most of the time,
Mhm.
but I let her,
Well, you
average.
still had to go to practice and you still had to
Total, total. But I was
Yeah.
was awkward when I was in that's the truth. Awkward,
Okay.
not very fast, but I, was determined, and I lettered in football, but, didn't win any accolades, wasn't all-state or like that, and I've always looked back with regret, and I think that's what I'm so happy to, be an athlete. Today, I've been called an athlete, and that's a
Yeah, well,
great
you are an athlete.
well, it's a great feeling.
Yes.
And so, uh, it's but when I was growing up, the truth is, and I had an older brother, 2 years older, who was a super athlete, lettered in football, basketball, baseball, and track, athlete of the school kind of thing. And me, I was just, average guy. And that's one of the big disappointments. So I think that's why I've enjoyed so much working out. And I genuinely enjoy it. And now I'm actually a competitive athlete. I've competed, I was saying 4 or 5 events, and I've won all 3 of them. Not related. And they were tough. And the guys that I beat were in fact athletes in college. But it just shows you, if you hang in there, you can find something in the world of exercise that you really kind of enjoy. I enjoy it now. And I look at it as a sport. And I hate to say it, but my older brother, Yale Cup winner, star athlete, he got burned out like so many of them
Mhm.
do. He won't do anything now. He won't. And it's just, I said, Charlie, just do something. No, maybe next week. I work out now, uh, 6 days a week. I do 3 days of strength training. I do 3 days of walking fast. I cannot run these days. And I do stretching and that kind of stuff. But my routine now is a little bit less than 85. My goal was very, very simple. When I started working out, a trainer said, "Well, tell me about your goals." I said, "I want to be 80 years young." And every guy except one laughed and said, "What the hell does that mean?" And this one guy said, "I can help you with that." Maybe he's a BSer, I don't know. But I give him credit, he helped me build a foundation. And that's the hard part. And then now it's fun for me. I genuinely enjoy, I work out an hour a day, and I enjoy it. It's where and what's really fun, I have a great workout partner. My wife of 58 years. We're both little kids from Kentucky. And her mother said, my wife's name is Stanya. I think her mom was reading a Russian novel or something like that. You just stun you. Horses sweat, men perspire, women glow. And this is years ago now. She's my age. And she said they would not let me do exercises. They wouldn't let me be a cheerleader. And she said, now, of course, our daughter does marathons and she's a competitive athlete, really, I mean, big time. And so it's just because generational change, it changes. But we have a
What
lot of fun together. And I motivate her, and I'm her biggest fan. And she says, Jim, you made a personal best. And I just thumbs up like that. So we just have fun.
That's great. So you have two different, I watched your SuperAgers piece on PBS, and what led you to create this? It's almost like a long form commercial, to kind of like a motivational commercial for people to kind of get up off their butts. Like, what led you to create something like that? Because I think there's huge value in it.
Well, my business career was in Wall Street, and I don't want to talk about it. That was years and years ago. But I'm now in the inspiration business. Don't ask why. I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not selling protein powder. I say to myself, just laughing, I'm not a trainer, but I enjoy the inspiration of I wrote a book, which maybe you've heard of, maybe not. You probably haven't. Book's called Just Move, and it's called A New Approach to Fitness After 50. And I'm proud to say National Geographic published it. And back in 2017, and they had never done a book like this before. And books like this don't sell. I mean, maybe it sold 20,000 copies. Maybe. Now, if George Clooney's name was on it, it would have sold 500,000, but nobody's going to buy the book. And so that's okay. But I really enjoy the educational stuff. If I can help other people, I just look back and I feel good about it. And so I'm a fitness ambassador. I'm one of like 4 or 5 of them. And I live in a senior community. And I just tell older people, look, don't worry. You don't need to do what I do, but you do need to move. You need some kind of exercise other than, walking, that kind of stuff. So I'm a big proponent, as I'm guessing you are, in doing strength training.
Yes.
And I've gone from being unable to do a single push-up. At the end of 3 or 4 years, I was doing, 50. And now I've cut back. And at my age, there's no payoff for killing myself. All I'm going to do is get hurt. So I do, 25 or 30. And that's it. And that's plenty. So there's got to be a payoff for this stuff. But it's all a lot of fun. It's fun for me. It's fun for my wife. And we just enjoy the companionship. We walk on the beach. We'll be doing that probably for sure this weekend. We just have fun doing it. So to me, working out it's like an adventure. But what I want to share with you is that there's a real benefit that nobody talks about. I'm curious to get your opinion on this. Once you go from being a certified couch potato, and that was me, what credentials do you have? Only one. Certified couch. Other than that, I have none. But once you become fit, whatever your definition of that may be, your life changes and your identity changes. And now I have a great deal of pride because I identify. I'm not bragging. I never, ever talk about what I'm doing. Nobody knows. They just know that, I'm not overweight, and I don't have the big beer belly that a lot of guys do my age and so on. And so I'm a real believer that doesn't matter whether you're 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, you got to move. And the game is just moving. If all you do is sit all day, you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it with pain, agony, and you won't believe the friends that we have who have fallen.
Mm-hmm.
And their whole life changes. They become withdrawn. They become afraid. And all I can say is I had a fear of getting old myself. I know the feeling. Like when I turned 70, I said, my best days are behind me. I don't feel that way now, but it's all because of exercising. Why do you think a guy? I had no background in producing documentary films. What did I know? Nothing. But I said to myself, if I can transform my body like I've done, what's going to hold me back? What's the worst that can happen? As it is, PBS happened to have liked my two films. I just finished the third one. And they just let me know that they're crazy about it. They're going to run it. And we'll see what happens. I don't know. But this is just a pastime. I could be playing poker with the guys, hanging out at the bar, or whatever. I'd rather do this, to be honest about it.
Yeah. Well, it's very inspirational because we are leaning, I think we're getting over the aesthetic type of fitness.
Yes.
I think when you're younger, it can look pretty, but it's not very functional. And it's like if my arms are huge, but I can't scratch my back, then that doesn't help me in my life. And I think as you get older, you get more knowledgeable about wanting to do certain things, like be able to get up off the floor or
Absolutely
go down on the floor to stretch and not think that it's a death sentence. If I get down on the floor, I'm never going to be able to get up, or be able to go for a walk. And I know, some people may think, oh, going out for a walk on the beach is nice and easy. And no, it's very taxing especially on those lower leg muscles.
Absolutely.
And if your feet and your, anterior tibialis and all those lower leg muscles are not in shape, that walk is going to be very short because you're going to get gassed and then you're going to say, okay, I'm done. But if you can go walk for half an hour on the beach, that's a wonderful thing to do. And it's great exercise aside from the beautiful view and fresh air and whatever, but it's definitely working your body. It's not a stroll on something that's not movable, shall we say. And functional fitness for me is where it's at, because like you're talking about, the idea of getting into, what do they call them, the rascal or something like that. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to be moving until I'm done. And I don't want to be someone who's hunched over shuffling because I'm so guarded and afraid of falling. I want to be able to go out and play and do all the things that I do and not worry about it. And that's what you're advocating for. And for those of you who are not watching, you can see that Jim is wearing, or you can't see, but Jim is wearing a shirt that's called Geezer Fit, because that's his mode of exercise, right? Is being fit at his age.
And Dan, tell you a quick story.
Sure.
I haven't told this story to many people, but I want to tell it to you because of your background. Okay. Now I'm talking about men, not talking about women, but any man that says, I just can't find the motivation. I got the answer. Guess what I did? On day one, I went to the gym with this t-shirt like this. This is a compression hat hanging over like this. And people said, this guy must have no pride whatsoever. Do you think I didn't lose 35 pounds over this 4 or 5 years? Sure. And now I wear a shirt like this every day I'm working out. And I say, if I gain 5 pounds or 4 pounds, you can see it. So I'm teasing when I say this, but if you want motivation, you're a guy, try wearing, this is a medium. I wore an extra large compression t-shirt for a couple of years. It ain't a medium. Now it's large. Now it's a medium. But and I'm only kidding when I say this, but that was part of the motivation that kept me coming back. And you can have too much pride. And nothing wrong with looking good in a bathing suit when you're 25 or 30. But when you, as you say, when you're 50, 60, whatever, it's all about functional fitness. Can you bend over if you drop something and pick it up? Be surprised how many people cannot do that. Can you put away a sack of groceries without saying, oh, my back's killing me? So, and I haven't said this.
On your socks.
Yep. I haven't said this to you before. I have zero pain, none. I have no back pain at all. Now, what is that worth? I can't tell you what it's worth. And so this is just from working out, exercising. And of course, once you start down this path, all of a sudden you're eating better, you're sleeping better, you're managing your stress better. and you've got more what I call positive energy. This is the payoff that I'm more intrigued by this than how much I can lift or whatever. It's that positive energy that says, if I can transform my body, what else can I do? And that's the truth. Now, I think everybody who's retired needs a second career. And do you want to guess what it is?
Body.
It's what I call self-care
Yes.
prevention. And if you think about it, if you think you can rely going forward, as you say in the trade, in the medical community, you got to be kidding. Mr. Owen, I know you're feeling terrible, but we can fit you in on April, I think the 4th. I can confirm that. But I'm dying. Well, we're sorry, kind of thing. The doctors aren't going to be there. The nurses are on strike. You saw this in New York City. I mean, I'm not funny. Okay. And so I think the second career is self-care. I'm into prevention. And I take that very seriously. What can I do to live? It's not longevity. I'm not into longevity. I want to live in a healthy manner for as free of aches and pains as long as I can. And obviously, the goal would be when it's no longer like that. What I don't want to do is to be bent over in pain. I'd assume, say to my wife, sweetheart, I'm ready to go. And because we're in a senior community, we know people like this who've just sort of given up on life. And that's no good. So
Got to move.
you got to move. That's why this book's called Just Move. Doesn't matter what you do. But we've had friends that play tennis. Would you believe they get injured when they're kind of running to hit the ball? I cannot tell you how many people we know who have fallen. And when you fall when you're running, oh my God. And then once this happens to you, I mean, you kind of lose that zest.
Yeah. Well, that's why a lot of those activities need to be balanced with weight training as well.
No, exactly. But I never talk about what I do because what I do is it works for me, may not work for the next person. And I'm happy if somebody says to me, "Well, Jim, what should I not do?" Well, if you're a guy, you don't need to go to the gym and I've done my dumbbell curls. I'm ready to go home. And you don't need to go on a treadmill and watch the news. You need to be focused and present and say, this is my time. There's no phone calls. There's no nothing. It's my time. And you don't need to work out for an hour if you don't want to. I enjoy it. It's fun for me. I don't think I've ever, Dana, once not worked out and not felt better. Some days I just don't have the energy. But I say to my wife, Stanya, I'm just going to work out for 20 minutes. That's all. Yeah, maybe 30 minutes. And all of a sudden you're into it. And I said, I feel so much better. What is it? I don't know what does it, but something seems to kick in. And it's
Endorphins.
Yeah, endorphins.
Yeah. Well, Jim, thank you so much for joining me today. How can people get in touch with you if they want to watch your stuff or buy your book or just even connect with you to get some inspiration?
Well, I've got a website that's new. It's called Meet, MEET, Jim Owen. And I'm not selling anything. I don't have protein powder or stuff for sale, but I'm happy
You're
to
selling
share.
inspiration.
Yeah, I'm selling it for, inspiration business, as I like to say. But it's fun for me. And my new film will be out in about a month on PBS. It's called the Virtuous Circle. That's the opposite of a vicious cycle. Virtuous Circle is, I'm big on subtitle. The subtitle is A Geezer's Guide. I love a geezer. A geezer's guide to a healthier and happier life. So it's not about being fit. Being fit's part of it, but there's another part of it, and that's having good relationships. And if it's just one person, but it's being connected to other people and having the purpose. And this for me is my purpose. And I feel better when I do what I'm doing. I want to thank you for your time today. Hope this was what you were looking for.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think it'll be good. You know, athletes come in all shapes and sizes, and you never know what anybody gets from information. And my job, I feel like, is just to kind of open the doors so that people can meet people like you and go, oh, I could do that. I can get out and I can walk, or I can start with one push up, or I could start with getting up off my chair, whatever it takes, because everybody has a different starting point. But
I
the
want
idea
to
is just keep going.
Dave, if I may tell you one last quick story. I became a competitive athlete in my mid 70s, and I'm competitive. Now, that was then. When I'm 85, I'm competing with myself, and I get the biggest kick out of a personal best, like a little kid, like a kid in high school. But I don't really compete anymore. I'm not doing any more, events like I did. I'm even getting out the top. So I really enjoy working out. I find the strength training particularly fun. I love the walking, and I love being out in nature with my wife and that kind of stuff. So I just want to suggest to your audience that it's never too late. As long as you're mobile, I promise you, you can always be more fit.
That is great advice. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been great. Thank you.